The Silky, You've Got to Hide Your Love Away, 1965. Guitar and tambourine on You've Got to Hide Your Love Away. Chet Atkins picks on The Beatles, 1966. Introduction note by George. James Taylor, 1968. Backing vocals on Carolina on My Mind. Cream, Goodbye, 1969. Badge was written by Eric Clapton and George Harrison, who also played rhythm guitar on this, credited as D'Angelo Misterioso. Jackie Lomax, Is This What You Want, 1969. George was the producer on the album, composer of Sour Milk Sea, where he also plays rhythm guitar. Guitar on Speak to Me, Is This the Way You Want, How Can You Say Goodbye, Take My Word, The Eagle Laughs at You, Baby You're a Lover, and You've Got Me Thinking. Guitar and backing vocals on New Day, Going Back to Liverpool, and Thumbing a Ride. Bonus tracks from the 1991 edition. Brute Force, King of Fach, Nobody Knows, 1969. Single, the song King of Fach was remixed by George. Blind Fate, 1969. George plays guitar on Exchange and Mart and Spending All My Days. Bonus tracks, published at the 1986 version. Billy Preston, That's the Way God Planned It, 1969. George was the producer on the album. He plays guitar on Do What You Want, She Belongs to Me, What About You, This Is It, and That's the Way God Planned It, Parts 1 and 2, and sitar on Let Us All Get Together Right Now, Radha Krishna, Temple, Hare Krishna Mantra, Prayer to the Spiritual Masters, 1969 single. The single was co-produced by George. He played guitar, bass and harmonium on Hare Krishna Mantra and sang the backing vocals on Prayer to the Spiritual Masters. Jake Bruce, Songs for a Tailor, 1969. George plays guitar on Never Tell Your Mother She's Out of Tune. Billy Preston, Everything's Alright, I Want to Thank You, 1969. George produced the single. John and Yoko, Wedding Album, 1969. George plays guitar on Yoko's song, Who Has Seen the Wind. A bonus track appeared at the 1997 Ryko disc reissue. Joe Cocker, 1969. George plays guitar on the cover version of his own classic, Something. Billy Preston, All That I've Got, I'm Gonna Give It to You, As I Get Older, 1970, single. George was the producer of All That I Got and the guitarist on As I Get Older. Lennon Ono with Plastic Ono Band, Instant Karma, Who Has Seen the Wind, 1970, single. George plays guitar and piano on John's classic Instant Karma, and guitar on Yoko's Who Has Seen the Wind. Jackie Lomax, How the Web Was Woven, Thumbing a Ride, 1970, single. George produced both sides of the single. Doris Troy, Ain't That Cute, Vaya Con Dios, 1970, single. George produced and co-wrote Ain't That Cute. He also co-produced and played guitar on Vaya Con Dios. Radha Krishna Temple, Govinda, Govinda Jai Jai, 1970, single. He was the producer of the single and played guitar on Govinda, Delaney and Bonnie, and Friends with Eric Clapton on tour, 1970. Under his pseudonym Misterioso, George played the guitar on every song on the album. Doris Troy, Jacob's Ladder, Get Back, 1970, single. George was one of the arrangers of Jacob's Ladder and played the guitar on Get Back. Billy Preston, My Sweet Lord, Long As I Got My Baby, not released, 1970. George was the co-producer of this single. Being Side A, the Billy Preston's cover version of the Harrisons' acclaimed composition, My Sweet Lord. Billy Preston, Encouraging Words, 1970. The album was co-produced by George. He composed and played guitar on All Things Must Pass and My Sweet Lord. He co-wrote Sing One for the Lord, where he played guitar and synthesizer. He played guitar on I Don't Want You to Pretend and Encouraging Words. He played guitar and sang backing vocals on Right Now. He sang backing vocals on Use What You Got. Doris Troy, 1970. Co-produced by George, arranger of Jacob's Ladder, co-writer of Ain't That Cute, Giving Back My Dynamite, Gonna Get My Baby Back, and You Give Me Joy Joy. Guitar on Ain't That Cute, Give Me Back My Dynamite, Gonna Get My Baby Back, I Got to Be Strong, So Far, You Give Me Joy Joy, Don't Call Me No More, and Jacob's Ladder. Backing vocals on Games People Play, Derek and the Dominos, Tell the Truth, Roll It Over, 1970, single. Guitar and backing vocals on Roll It Over, guitar on Tell the Truth, Ashton Gardner and Ike, 1970. Album co-produced by George. Guitar and co-writer, credits on I'm Your Spiritual, Bradman. Bob Dylan, New Morning, 1970. George plays the guitar on Went to See the Gypsy, Yoko Ono, Plastic Ono Band, 1970. Sitar on Greenfield, Morning, I Pushed an Empty Baby, Carriage, All Over the City, Leon Russell, 1970. Guitar on I Put a Spell on You. Shout Out, On the Plantation, Delta Lady, Prince of Peace, Pisces Apple Lady, Roll Away the Stone, and An Indian Girl, the new Sweet Home Chicago, song published as bonus track in the 1994 edition. Ringo Starr, It Don't Come Easy, early 1970. 1971 single, producer of the single, It Don't Come Easy, written by George Harrison. Ronnie Spector, Try Some, Buy Some, Tandoori Chicken, 1971 single produced by George Harrison and Phil Spector. Try Some, Buy Some, written by George Harrison. Radha Krishna Temple, The Radha Krishna Temple, 1971, album produced by George, except Hare Krishna Mantra, and Prayer to the Spiritual Masters that were co-produced by George and Paul McCartney. Guitar, bass, and harmonium on Hare Krishna Mantra, guitar and tambourine on Sri Guru Astakam, guitar on Govinda and Sri Isupanisad, backing vocals on Prayer to the Spiritual Masters, Gary Wright, Footprints, 1971, guitar on Two-Faced Man and Stand for Our Rights, Bobby with Luck, 1972, guitar on A Day Without Jesus, Back in My Life Again, and Where There's a Will, There's a Way, Ravi Shankar, Joy Bangla, O Bhagavan, Raga Mishra, Jin Jodi, 1971 single produced by George Harrison. John Lennon, Imagine, 1971, George plays Dobro on Crippled Inside, guitar on I Don't Wanna Be a Soldier Mama, I Don't Wanna Die, Give Me Some Truth, Oh My Love, and How Do You Sleep. Billy Preston, I Wrote a Simple Song, 1971, guitar on I Wrote a Simple Song, Ravi Shankar, Raga, 1971, album produced by George. Badfinger, Straight Up, 1971, co-produced by George, guitar on Day After Day, I Die Babe, Name of the Game, and Suitcase, Jesse Ed Davis, Lulu, 1972, George played guitar in his own composition, Sue Me, Sue You Blues, David Bromberg, 1972, co-writing and guitar credits on The Hold Up, Lon and Derek Van Eden, Sweet Music, Song of Songs, 1972, single, producer of Sweet Music, Ringo Starr, Back of Boogaloo, Blind Man, 1972, single, George produced and plays guitar on Back of Boogaloo, John and Yoko, Plastic Ono Band, with Elephant's Memory, plus Invisible Strings, Sometime in New York City, 1972, George plays guitar as member of the Plastic Ono Band on live versions of Cold Turkey and Don't Worry Kyoko. Bobby Keys, 1972, guitar on Bootleg, Nilsson, Son of Schmilson, 1972, George plays guitar on You're Breaking My Heart, Lon and Derek Van Eden, Brother, 1972, George was the producer of Sweet Music. Rudy Romero, The World, 1973, George played the guitar on Lovely Lady, Nothing Gonna Get You Down, and Doing the Right Thing. He also sang If I Had Time. Nicky Hopkins, The Thin Man Was a Dreamer, 1973, guitar on Banana Anna, Edward, Speed On, and the excellent Waiting for the Band, Chi Chi Chang, Los Cochinos, 1973, he played the guitar on Basketball Jones, featuring Tyrone Shoelaces, Eric Clapton's Rainbow Concert, 1973, George played the guitar on the live version of Badge, song that was co-written by George and Eric. Ringo Starr, Photograph, Down and Out, 1973, single. Ringo's hit Photograph was written by Ringo and George. He also plays guitar on it. Down and Out was produced by George. Dan Nix, Cowboys, Heroes, and Street Corner Clowns, 1973. George co-produced the album and played guitar in his old composition, I Need You. Dave Mason, It's Like You Never Left, 1973. Guitar on If You Got Love. Ringo Starr, Ringo, 1973. All ex-Beatles were largely involved in the creation of Ringo's best album. George wrote Sunshine Live for Me and co-wrote Photograph and You and Me, Babe. He also played guitar on Photograph, Sunshine Live for Me, and I'm the Greatest, along with John and Ringo. Alvin Lee and Mylene Lefebvre on The Road to Freedom, 1973. George wrote and played guitar on So Sad, No Love on his own. David Bromberg, Wanted Dead or Alive, 1974. George co-wrote The Hold Up. Harry Nilsson, Son of Dracula, 1974. George played the cowbell on Daybreak, Shankar Family Friends, 1974. Album produced by George. He also played acoustic and electric guitar and sitar on it. Splinter, The Place I Love, 1974. Producer of the album. Guitar on Gravy Train, harmonium, guitar, dobro, and percussion on Drink All Day, Got to Find Your Own Way Home, acoustic guitar and mandolin on China Light, guitar and percussion on Somebody's City, The Place I Love, and Haven't Got Time, harmonium and bass guitar on Costa Fine Town, guitar and synthesizer on Ellie Mae, Ronnie Wood, I've Got My Own Album to Do, 1974. Far East Man was written by Ron Wood and George Harrison. He played guitar and sang backing vocals on that song. Billy Preston, It's My Pleasure, 1974. Guitar on That's Life, Peter Skelron, Hard Times, 1975. George played the guitar on Make Love Not War, Splinter, Harder to Live, 1975. Co-producer of the album, Monty Python, Lumberjack Song, Spam Song, 1975, single. Single produced by George Harrison. Tom Scott, New York Connection, 1975. George played the guitar on Apollonia Foxtrot. Ravi Shankar's Music Festival, from India, 1976. Album produced by George Harrison. Splinter, Lonely Man, 1976, single. Co-produced and guitar by George. Larry Hosford, Crosswords, 1976. Guitar on Direct Me. Backing vocals on Wishing I Could. Ringo's Rotogravure, 1976. I'll Still Love You, written by George Harrison. Splinter, Round and Round, I'll Bend For You, 1977, single. Guitar on Round and Round, Splinter, Two-Man Band, 1977. He was executive producer of the album. He played guitar on Round and Round, Daryl Hall, and John Oates. Along the Red Ledge, 1978. Guitar on The Last Time, Monty Python's Life of Brian, 1979. George was one of the mixers of some songs in the album. Mick Fleetwood, The Visitor, 1981. Guitar and backing vocals on Walk a Thin Line. Ringo Starr, Stop and Smell the Roses, 1981. Composer and producer of Wreck My Brain, where he played guitar and sang backing vocals. Producer of You Belong to Me, where he played guitar. Gary Brooker, Lead Me to the Water, 1981. George played guitar on Mineral Man and sang backing vocals on The Circle. Various artists, Porky's Revenge, 1985. The OST includes George's cover of Dylan's I Don't Want to Do It. Various artists, Greenpeace, 1985. Compilation. The release includes George's song Save the World. Alvin Lee, Detroit Diesel, 1986. Guitar on Talk Don't Bother Me. Mike Batt, The Hunting of the Snark, 1986. Guitar and vocals on Children of the Sky. The Ravi Shankar Project, Tana Mana, 1987. George played the synthesizer and guitar on the album. Wayne Eddy, his twangy guitar, and The Rebels, 1987. George co-produced and played guitar on The Tremble and the theme for Something Really Important. Various artists. The Princess Trust Rock Gala, 1988. George performed live versions of his own classics, While My Guitar Gently Weeps and Here Comes the Sun. Eric Clapton, Crossroads, 1988. Compilation. Badge was written by Eric and George, who play guitar on the song. He also plays guitar and backing vocals on Roll It Over and guitar on Tell the Truth. Gary Wright, Who I Am, 1988. Guitar on I Don't Wanna Hold Back. Jim Capaldi, Some Come Running, 1988. George played guitar on Oh Lord, Why Lord. Roy Orbison, Mystery Girl, 1989. Acoustic guitar on A Love So Beautiful. Backing vocals on You Got It. Tom Petty, Full Moon Fever, 1989. Guitar and backing vocals on I Won't Back Down. Little Weapon 2, 1989. George wrote and performed Cheer Down. Belinda Carlisle, Leave a Light On. Shades of Michelangelo, 1989, single. Guitar on Leave a Light On. Belinda Carlisle, Runaway Horses, 1989. Guitar on Leave a Light On. Guitar and bass guitar on Deep Deep Ocean. Eric Clapton, Journeyman, 1989. George wrote Run So Far, where he plays guitar and vocals. Jim Horn, Work It Out, 1990. Guitar on Take Away the Sadness. Gary Moore, Still Got the Blues, 1990. That Kind of Woman was composed and co-produced by George Harrison. He also played guitar and sang backing vocals on that song. The Jeff Healey Band, Hell to Pay, 1990. Guitar and backing vocals on the cover version of his classic While My Guitar Gently Weeps. Jeff Lane, Armchair Theater, 1990. Guitar and backing vocals on Every Little Thing and Lift Me Up. Guitar on September Song and Stormy Weather. Various artists, Nobody's Child, Romanian Angel Appeal, 1990. The Traveling Wilburys performs Nobody's Child. George is on guitar and backing vocals. Eric Clapton performs That Kind of Woman, a song written by George, who is on guitar and backing vocals. George and Paul Simon, both on acoustic guitars and vocals, perform Homeward Bound. George plays guitar on Dwayne Eddy's performance of The Trembler. Vicky Brown, About Love and Life, 1990. Guitar on Lula La. Bob Dylan, Under the Red Sky, 1990. George plays guitar on Under the Red Sky. Bob Dylan, The Bootleg Series, Volumes 1, 3, rare and unreleased, 1961, 1991. Guitar on If Not For You. Julian Lennon, Help Yourself, 1991. George secretly arranged Julian Saltwater, various artists. The Bunbury Tales, 1992. Ride Rajvin was written and performed by George Harrison. Jimmy Nail, Growing Up in Public, 1992. Guitar on Real Love, Alvin Lee, Zoom, 1992. Guitar on Real Life Blues, various artists. Bob Dylan, the 30th anniversary concert celebration. George performed Absolutely Sweet Mary. He played guitar and sang backing vocals on Knocking on Heaven's Doors and My Back Pages. Alvin Lee, I Hear You Rocking, 1994. Guitar on The Bluest Blues and on I Want You She's So Heavy. Gary Wright, First Sight of Life, 1995. George sang backing vocals on Don't Try to Own Me. Ravi Shankar, In Celebration, 1996 compilation. I Am Missing You, arranged by George, who plays acoustic guitar and sitar on it. Carl Perkins, Go Cat Go, 1996, producer and mixer of Distance Makes No Difference in Love. He plays guitar, bass guitar, and vocals on that song. Ravi Shankar, Chants of India, 1997, produced by George. He plays several instruments all along the album. Ringo Starr, Vertical Man, 1998, guitar on King of Broken Hearts and I'll Be Fine Everywhere. Robbie Horse, How Far Have You Come, 2000, guitar on Punch Drunk. Bill Wyman's Rhythm Kings, Double Bill, 2001. George plays the guitar on Love Letters, Electric Light Orchestra. Zoom, 2001, guitar on A Long Time Gone and All She Wanted. Jim Capaldi, Anna Julia, Bathed in Love, 2001, single, guitar on Anna Julia. Jules Holland, his Rhythm and Blues Orchestra and Friends. Jules Holland's Big Band, Rhythm and Blues, 2001. George's last recorded performance, Horse to the Water, co-written with his son Danny.
Hello. That was Ringo, folks.
Well, what can I say?
And goodbye to all of us.
Well, this is Ringo. Everyone seems to have said everything here, so I'll just sign off by saying cheerio and best of luck from the Beatles.